We are the anchors of Queer News Tonight, and this evening we discuss the queer headlines. Trump's lesbian niece, Mary Trump, who is also a clinical psychologist, knows why Republicans are backing Donald Trump. Can you spell crazy?
Hope, health, and love. I go inside Sunshine Pride House, a new place for LGBTQ plus youth.
The U.S. Supreme Court has left in place a lower appeals court ruling that upheld the rights of Indiana trans students to access the correct bathrooms. Did we win?
Get ready to laugh out loud this weekend when DeLaria of Orange is the New Black visits Fort Lauderdale.
Andrew Scott says, enough with openly gay and out gay terms, and other actors agree. What do you think about openly gay?
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only LGBTQ plus daily evening television news, broadcasting live and available on demand. Available on all smart televisions, including Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, Amazon Fire TV, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. It's time to queer up the news. It's Wednesday, January 17th, 2024. We are live and literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we're going to tell this evening on Queer News Tonight.
This is the world's first live daily LGBTQ evening news show, literally out of the closet and into the headlines on Queer News Tonight.
I'm your anchor at Queer News Tonight, FayWhat? And this evening we bring you the news of and perspective representing the LGBTQ plus community from South Florida, America, and across our planet.
This is the world's first and only unedited live LGBTQ plus evening news show. Whatever happens unique in LGBTQ plus news, you will see it and hear it.
Hotspots Magazine, Happening Out Television Network, is a nonprofit 501c3 media company in the same models of PBS and NPR, but designed for the LGBTQ plus community. Our mission? Support the 10 pillars of our LGBTQ plus community. We want to inform and educate the key issues of our Black community, Latino, lesbian and queer women, trans, student youth, seniors, HIV/AIDS healthcare, business, social justice, and faith. Help us support our community.
We are part of one of the largest LGBTQ plus media companies in America, Hotspots Magazine and Happening Out Television Network.
In 2024, our magazine is celebrating 40 years of the LGBTQ plus experience, and our television news, talk, and entertainment shows support our mission to educate the LGBTQ plus and broader community.
That's right. So let's begin by meeting tonight's panel. We're going to begin with the beautiful, the lovely, the exuberant, the incredible Miss Bonnie Builder. Bonnie is the premier South Florida bodybuilding drag queen and the current reigning Mixed Marys 2023. A recent graduate of FIU, she comes to life with a microphone and a spotlight, and we just love having Bonnie on board. Hello, baby girl. Welcome back.
What's up, everybody? I'm happy to be here and to be the youngest, per usual.
Oh.
About to put my young perspective on you old fogies, so let's get into it. I said it.
Yeah.
I said it. I'll say
Lucky
it
you
again.
used some good glue on that wig, girl.
Girl,
I love her. Next, let's welcome John Hayden. He's my brother from another mother, and he's also a journalist for 29 years. He's now senior reporter for Out South Florida. You can follow him on Instagram at John Hayden Journalist for breaking news and live reports from a bunch of our community events. Welcome back, John.
Thank you so much. Lots going on in this community where season is just kicking up. And shout out, I love you, Mom. Get well.
Oh, we love you too, Mom. Get well. Welcome. Next up is our sister, my sister, the beautiful Miss Cindy Brown. Yes, anchor Cindy Brown was an early organizer of the Miami AIDS Walk and the White Party for Care Resource. She is the programs director for the Lambda Living program at Jewish Community Services, and she also served as the executive director of the MDGLCC Foundation. Welcome, Miss Cindy.
I'm so happy to be here and not sick with COVID anymore.
Yes.
Girl, how are you
It just keeps going
feeling?
on. I'm feeling like myself.
Oh my goodness.
But it
Tough?
just keeps going around and
Yeah, and around and around
around and around.
Were you
Yep.
able to get some Paxlovid?
I
and like
did.
that?
I took the Paxlovid, so I'm hoping I don't get the Paxlovid rebound.
Oh,
which
okay.
I've heard of.
You're not going to
but
get it. You're
Not
not
going to
get it.
happen. Poo-poo.
Nope,
That's
not
right.
at all. We love you, Miss Cindy. I'm so glad that you're feeling better.
Thank you.
Let's welcome anchor Gregg Shapiro. Gregg's 9th book, Refrain in Light, was selected for the Poetry Mutual 10 Best Poetry Books of 2023. His entertainment coverage, including celebrity interviews, runs in a variety of print and online publications. Welcome back, Gregg.
Happy to be here.
Does your mom call you Gregory when you're bad?
Actually, it's Gregg on my birth certificate. It's Gregg. I'm not a Gregory. I'm just a Gregg.
They can
You're just
afford the rest.
I'm just a Gregg.
You're just a Gregg. He couldn't afford the rest of the letters, but he could afford an extra G.
Hey.
Okay.
So there's that.
Can I buy a G? Yes.
We are the reporters for Queer News tonight, and this evening we begin with the queer headlines. The LGBTQ plus community in South Florida and across America is diverse. Our community across the world is vast, and here are the bullet points of the queer news for Wednesday, January 17th, 2024. Let's begin by queering up politics. Psychologist Mary Trump explains in 7 words why LGBTQ plus is not crazy on Trump, Iowa, and the caucus. Mary Trump, the out lesbian niece of Donald Trump and a clinical psychologist, made a cutting observation about Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds and by extension all Republicans. Mary recently shared a clip of Reynolds talking to Fox News' Neil Cavuto. The clip shows Reynolds claiming she would support Donald Trump if he wins the primary, despite Trump insulting her just prior to the caucuses for supporting Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. The reason behind this support? Well, winning at all costs. Psychologist Mary Trump summarized this behavior aptly in her post that read, quote, Exhibit A, that Republicans have no principles, end quote. With this powerful 7-word statement, Mary Trump has revealed the complex dynamics and ideological shifts that currently shape the GOP.
When I spoke to Nikki Haley this morning at a diner, I love talking to people in diners, by the way. We should do this again at a diner.
I know,
But
me too.
One of the things I learned from her is that, look, if it comes down to Donald Trump as the nominee, I'll support him. I'll support whoever our nominee is. Do you share that view? Does the Governor DeSantis, share that view?
Well, you'll have to ask Governor DeSantis that, but I've made it clear that I will. I'm a Republican, and, all of the candidates running are going to be better than what we have.
All the stuff he said about you?
Well, because, we've got to win. We are a resilient people. This country is in trouble. Look at the southern border.
I talked to a lot of people at that diner, Governor, who said, no, this isn't worth it. To go to Trump, no.
Yeah, well, people are going to I just think, too, when you look at the direction of the country, I believe it's going to be Ron. So I believe he's our best shot.
But if it were Trump and Biden, you, the governor,
yes,
very popular governor, would go.
I'm on record saying that and consistently saying that. I'm a Republican, and we need to make sure that we don't reelect President Biden for another 4 years.
Against this backdrop, she provides some assurance to the LGBTQ plus community that they are not crazy after Iowa results came out. 82% of Iowa evangelical Christians voted for Trump. That is a near 50-point gain since the 2016 Iowa caucus. The queer community asks if we are crazy. How can the most radical of Christians support the man that will go down in history as the most morally deviant president in history? Especially true when they could have voted for alternatives. Sarah K. Ellis, president of GLAAD, helped make that point. She said, quote, the results in Iowa show urgency and clarity for voters who believe in liberty and justice for all. No one should forget that Donald Trump led more than 200 attacks in policy and rhetoric against LGBTQ Americans with enablers in Congress and the courts, stripping fundamental freedoms from every American, end quote. Let's begin by talking about Miss Mary Trump. First of all, give her huge kudos.
Absolutely.
Huge kudos. I love that she's an openly out lesbian. I love that she's outspoken. Yeah. I love that she's outspoken having to walk around with a name like that.
Exactly.
Okay? The fact that last name is a part of her name is hard enough, all right? I also do believe that Mary Trump is the smartest person in that whole entire family. All right? Saying that, it's scary shit, but it's the truth. Republicans don't care. They have no morals. Republicans have no principles. It is win at all costs, and you even heard it from her mouth. They don't give a crap that Republicans don't want us to breathe or all the anti-LGBTQ plus bills, rhetoric, etc. They don't care. At the end of the day, like she said, I'm a Republican. That's how I have to vote. So who cares about morals, correct? We're not crazy, LGBTQ. We are not.
No, we're not. And, I think that the fact that she stands up to him when he is such a bully to everybody. I imagine that, when they were younger, they probably disagreed on a lot of things too. But she really puts it out there in a way that is real. And, it's true what she says. I know that there are a lot of Republicans, certainly not the majority, who are moving away from the party because of this. But those that are staying, that minority, that 30-40% are not budging.
The morally deviant deplorables.
The basket
They're
of
still here.
deplorables.
Yes, they're still here.
Where the party is just, it's so unrecognizable. I mean, and I've said this before. I mean, in 2012, Mitt Romney was our worst case scenario. My God, we were freaking out about that.
Mitt Romney now.
Right.
Yeah. And now we're this. I mean, politics has always been a rough and tumble sport. And a lot of people say that we're on the verge of a civil war. And I don't think that's 150 years ago was just a very different situation. But it reminds me more of the early 1850s, the Kansas-Nebraska Act, and when they were deciding whether it would be okay to have enslaved people just for being born here in Kansas and Nebraska. And there was so much violence. The militias, wow, exactly the same word, would go in and murder people at night. That's really, I think, the more apt comparison. It's frightening, and if it's not true, it's very close to being true.
Wow, scary. What's up next, John?
Well, now we queer up out South Florida. Sunshine Pride House opens its doors after a decade of dreaming. A duplex sits nestled along a tree-lined street in an average Fort Lauderdale neighborhood. From the outside, it blends in with its surroundings. Take a step inside, and you feel love, compassion, and most of all, hope. In this week's Out South Florida, I take a tour of Sunshine Pride House, a new home for LGBTQ plus young adults looking to get a foothold on life. Some are aging out of foster care, others are trans. There are too many stories to list here. It opened its doors this month and will eventually house 12 people. This is a collaborative effort. Sunshine Cathedral owns the property. Flight Center helps them develop life skills. SunServe gets them in treatment for mental health services, and much more. All with the help of David Jobin and the Our Fund Foundation. I talk with the team that works with the kids 24/7. David Allen, Gabby Corrado, and Quay Montgomery answer texts from them at all hours. Their first goal is make the new residents feel safe. Quay told me, quote, "When they come into our care, they come with a lot of trauma. Once we show them that we're not backing out and help them on their journey, that's when they start to open up," end quote. I also talked with Michael Kalb, who's been working on this for a decade and is seeing his dream of having a positive impact on the LGBTQ plus community come true. But the job is hard, but this team is in it for the long haul. Montgomery told me, quote, "Do they fail? Yes. Do they fail again? Yes. But we never give up." And, Kalb told me that he's been wanting to do this ever since he came out. He came out late in life. And so he's really been working hard. And the situation never lined up. But this time we've got 3 amazing groups that are putting this all together, along with the help of Our Fund Foundation. Mm-hmm. But what really struck me most is Quay and David and Gabby, because they're never off. Yeah, their cell phones are always on, and one of them at least is always buzzing. So their dedication, that's the story for me. Mm-hmm. And then hopefully in a year, I'm going to be able to do a story on how they're celebrating the 1-year anniversary, maybe talk with one of the residents who can share their experience, because this is going to help people. Wow. It's a tip of the iceberg, but it's great. This story fills me with joy.
And, the model that they have developed here is easy to replicate in different communities. And that would be really great to see the success that it will have here, and being able to replicate the model in Miami-Dade, in Palm Beach, and, other places in Florida where it's not as easy as it is for us.
I will say that the perspective of being a young queer person, to wake up in a soft bed, to possibly have a TV, air conditioning, makes you feel like a human being.
Yes.
Right.
It makes you feel like I'm a person who actually deserves these things. And to be given this opportunity is so moving, because I worked in nightlife for a long time, and I would work with people who just had nowhere to sleep at night, would hope to find a couch to sleep on. So to have a residence where you can like just open the door, this is your space, this is your private sanctum, is going to feel amazing for these people and give them the opportunity to just like feel like a person. And from there, they just grow and blossom to be like beautiful things and hopefully contributors to our society with a start like this.
Just imagine, they don't have to think about where they're going to sleep tonight. You know what I mean? Like, this
so
is
stressful.
so needed.
Or where they're going to get their next meal
It's
or any
so
of that.
needed. And just like Bonnie said, okay, I have a place to sleep. I know that I have an address to get my, you know, my correspondence, right? That right there, you just enabled a young adult to get ahead, you know, to maybe go back to school or get the job training, you know? And then when you think, like when John said, the people that had to come together to make this happen, Cindy, this could be copied everywhere, but it's not, right? And then we think of these powerhouses like David Jobin in Our House, Tony, you know, Our Fund, excuse me, Tony Lima at Sunsurf Flight. You know, these folks, they're doing the damn thing. And it's incredible when a couple of people and different organizations come together for the greater good, you know, for the greater good.
And that they came together over the course of 10 years.
Right.
And it took this long, and it's still, they didn't give up on it.
And they didn't give up on it.
Right.
And they didn't give up on it. And those 12 kids are going to start just a new revolution, you know? And I mean, it's just going to be incredible. Now, so so Mr. Tony Leva, over the CEO at Sunserve, he had said, "We're immensely grateful for this partnership, which shines a light on the power of community and philanthropy in addressing the unique needs of LGBTQ+. You know, that right there sums it up. You know, there is a unique need. How do you? There are shelters that won't allow our trans sisters in it. You know, there are holding cells that are put them in the wrong gender cells. I mean, there's just so many different things that our LGBTQ young adults have to deal with, and just a nice warm pillow might be one thing that they don't freaking have to.
Exactly.
I'm so excited for our queer youth. And speaking of our queer youth. Next, let's queer up trans rights. Supreme Court win for trans students by leaving school bathroom victory in place. Here ends a long fight put up by trans students against discriminatory school laws in Indiana. The U.S. Supreme Court has handed transgender students and allies a victory by declining to hear a case on whether Indiana schools can block students from using restrooms that match their gender identities. The court's refusal leaves in place a lower appeals court ruling that upheld the rights of trans students to access the correct bathrooms. In August, the U.S. Court of Appeals for the 7th Circuit heard a case involving 3 trans boys attending schools in Martinsville and Terre Haute, Indiana. Their middle and high schools blocked their access to the boys' restroom, even though the state has no law banning trans students from using the correct facilities. This marks at least the second time that the U.S. Supreme Court has declined to hear a case on trans students' bathroom bans, leaving in place a victory for trans rights. In 2021, the court declined to review a court ruling in favor of Gavin Grimm, a trans male student, after his school board in Virginia tried to create a policy to block him from using the boys' restroom. The district court ruled that the school board's policy violated Title IX as well as the Equal Protection Clause of the Constitution. However, Indiana has recently passed anti-LGBTQ+ laws allowing schools to forcibly out trans students to their potentially unsupported parents, and a law prohibiting the instruction of human sexuality in preschool through 3rd grade. Trans activists make note that this will likely have significant influences on other states' anti-trans laws, including Florida. Now, can we please stay out of the restroom?
Exactly.
Metaphorically speaking, when trans and cis alike, just leave the bathroom alone.
Exactly.
Just let them do what they gotta do.
Listen, that's why there's stalls. They can go into a stall. You got to see what I
Open
got.
the door.
Ally McBeal had unisex bathrooms a million years ago. It wasn't a big deal.
Let me tell you, at events, that the women's restroom has a long line.
I go to the boys'.
I have gone into the boys' bathroom, so I don't have to wait in the line. And you know, people just want to go to the bathroom.
Bathroom. And we've been fighting this for how long? This started what, 2015, 21 was it? John?
Yeah, 2014. I think it started in North Carolina.
I remember me and John did the story a couple months ago about the gentleman who finally got some, was going to get some money from the civil, for paying some of his law bills, but it wasn't a lot, and it had been a million years after.
Yeah, legal bills at $400 an hour or more add up fast.
Right.
I'd like to, unfortunately, I have to correct something from your story. At the beginning, you said here comes the end to the fight for LGBTQ plus rights. I'm sad to say, Pat Barrett Coleman, who is a member of Catholic Allies, a great watchdog group for our community in Indiana. They keep an eye on the session, much like Florida has just started, the legislative session. And Pat posts that HB 1291 wants to eliminate the term gender and replace it with biological sex. Chris Judy, Joanna King, Michelle Davis, and Robert Morris are the bigots that are pushing this bill. Again, HB 1291, if you're in Indiana, or even if you're not, send emails. Tell them this is wrong. The fight continues, and it's frightening, but it continues. We must be there with them. Thank you so much, Pat.
And this story is also a reminder that while Indiana did give us our icon, Pete Buttigieg, it's also the same place from which Mike Pence and Dan Quayle slithered forth. So keep your eye on Indiana, because it could be a dangerous place.
And mind your goddamn business. Go ahead.
Thank you.
That part.
Yeah, now let's queer up South Florida and Florida. Leah DeLaria brings comedy show to Sunshine Cathedral Center for the Performing Arts on January 20th. Sunshine Cathedral is set to welcome Leah DeLaria on Saturday, January 20th.
You don't say.
You know DeLaria for her 3-time SAG award-winning standout role as Carrie Big Boo Black in the Netflix hit series Orange is the New Black. DeLaria's multifaceted career as a comedian, actress, and jazz musician spans across decades. Leah has 5 records on the Warner Jazz and Classics label, and her book, Leah's Book of Rules for the World, is in its 3rd printing at Bantam Doubleday and Dell. Her 6th record, House of David, DeLaria plus Bowie equals jazz, was released to critical acclaim. Leah holds the distinction of being the first openly gay comic on television in America, which led to countless television and film roles portraying police lieutenants, PE teachers, and the lesbian who inappropriately hits on straight women. Don't miss the opportunity to see her in person. Tickets for the event start at $35. Sunshine Cathedral for the Performing Arts is a nonprofit experience supporting the LGBTQ+ community. It is also America's leading LGBTQ+ live entertainment series. Further details of the event are available on sunshinecathedral.org. Well, I think that Leah DeLaria is hilarious. And if you haven't seen her, you should, because she will make you laugh.
Absolutely. Does anybody else here remember when she was doing comedy, she'd do the whack a butt plug? Do you remember the whack a butt plug routine that she would do?
I don't remember.
It was like whack-a-mole, but it was called whack a butt plug. That was her bit that she would do back then. But
Did it turn you on, Greg?
No, but since then she
Share
really
the link.
Yeah.
No, but she's really proven that she can be both a comedic and dramatic actress.
Absolutely.
And what a set of pipes. And she's a fabulous interpreter. So it's going to be a great show.
And, you know, with the world as it is, we need some comic
God,
relief.
you're so right.
Yeah.
We need some levity. We need to laugh because...
We need lesbians.
We need
definitely.
We need more lesbians.
Yeah, no, but it's true. What Cindy said, we need to laugh. And Leah is just so freaking funny, you know? Like, the fact that it's just like her whole brand, right? Like, if she just stands on stage for like half a minute, you're going to laugh regardless, right? It's not that she's funny looking, but like she has these faces and you're just like, you know, and I met her a couple of years ago with Al Ferguson, and you can't tell if she's young or old, right? Because it's like, you know, she kind of looks older, but she's kind of young at the
I
same
don't
time.
look as old as I am. None of us do.
I stuck on the blood of young twinks, which is how I say
That's where they're going. I can't find it.
too. Get your tickets today. It's going to be a great time.
Yes,
You're definitely going to go check out Leah. I think that she is fantastical. And Sunshine Cathedral, thank you for bringing these incredible heavyweights for us. They're bringing all these queer entertainers, you know? And it's like you see how talented we really are, from theater to music to acting to comedy. We bring it all here at Sunshine Cathedral, so go get your ticket.
Now we're going to queer up even more entertainment. Andrew Scott says it's time to park the term openly gay once and for all. Gay actor Andrew Scott says that it's time to get rid of the term openly gay. Scott has played a breakout role on Fleabag as the so-called hot priest, and also stars in the upcoming Netflix miniseries Mr. Ripley as the iconic character invented by lesbian novelist Patricia Highsmith. Speaking at a roundtable discussion for the Hollywood Reporter's Off-Script series, Scott discussed his feelings on the subject of how the media refers to out celebrities as openly gay. Speaking to fellow film stars, including Rustin actor Coleman Domingo and Oppenheimer's Robert Downey Jr., Scott indicated that the term openly gay suggests that someone has decided to live as a gay person without shame. Scott said, quote, "You don't say you're openly Irish. You don't say you're openly left-handed. Then why say openly gay?" End quote. Scott's fellow actors appeared to agree with him, particularly Domingo, who is gay himself. Robert Downey Jr. showed his agreement with a hint of humor, saying, quote, "You are never at a party and you say, 'This is my openly gay friend Andrew,'" end quote. Though Scott has now become a huge star, he recently told British GQ that many industry people and friends advised him to stay in the closet. And though he understands why they gave him that advice, he is happy he ignored it. Well, I have to say that in a perfect world, Andrew Scott would not only be nominated for an Oscar for his performance in All of Us Strangers, but would also go home with the award. It's a breathtaking performance and a great movie. And that said, as a member of the media and a print journalist, it's helpful to hear a gay actor have his say on the subject. And for my part, a while back, I did switch to using out as opposed to openly gay when describing an LGBTQ plus performer.
You know, yeah, you and I are both in the same field,
Right,
and we both
right.
feel this way. I found it odd that he said it suggests that someone has chosen to live their life without shame. Yeah.
Right.
Duh, that's
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
Right.
Why would, yeah.
And out instead of in.
Yeah, I just don't get it. And I think it's important for some stories. Now, every story I write about Fort Lauderdale, I don't always refer to Mayor Trentalis as Fort Lauderdale is openly gay.
Right.
But if we're doing a story on the new sewage treatment plant or something like that, but if it's about
necessary.
gay
Community.
if it's about gay community and
For
he's
sure.
speaking up, presumably for our community,
Yeah.
then I will say he's openly gay because I think that lends a certain amount of credibility to his comments and perspective. So I think it's all situational. And yeah, I am openly gay journalist John Hayden, and I'm going to live without shame.
Okay, and I'm openly gay, FayWhat?
Yeah, I also think, you know. Yeah. Okay, there.
Gay.
You know, when it comes to politicians, though, I think that in some cases it's important. For example, the city of Miami just elected their first ever openly gay city commissioner.
Nice.
Damian Pardo.
Oh, yes. Congratulations, Damien.
Yes.
Hold on. Damien is their first?
The first openly gay
That's
city
incredible.
of Miami
Yeah.
commissioner.
Well,
And I think it's important to say that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
Miami
right.
Beach, there's been so many, it's not.
How does that all fit on the name tag, though? Like, openly gay Commissioner Damien Pardo. Like, it have to be like a 3.
I think you just put it on a QR code and then you scan it, and then it'll have it all there.
Well, isn't openly gay the original OG anyway?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so which one would you use? Openly gay or out?
Out, I think out is important.
John?
Sodomite.
Appropriate. I'm going to say this in terms of language. I think openly gay has an important context to it because to say this gay actor compared to this openly gay actor sort of alludes to the fact that they have power in them expressing their sexuality to the public.
Right.
They're openly gay. They came out.
They don't have an issue talking about it.
Exactly. Sort of saying this gay actor, to me, alludes to the fact that they were outed or they're not in control of that. Also, when you're freshly out, saying openly gay is such a release to that world.
Wow.
Maybe he's talking to a straight audience and they need to hear this. It's one of those conversations, but like from a gay to gay,
Yeah.
like don't sort of dictate what we can say. No, he's not dictating. He's expressing his.
No,
Right.
that's why, like,
He
like,
is
I almost,
openly gay opinion.
I almost thought Robert Downey Jr. had turned gay because I was like, oh, what
I
is
was
he
like,
doing
where
in
did
that
he
story,
come
right? I was like,
from?
yes,
No,
we'll take him. We'll take
You
him.
better mind your hetero business.
But I think
He is an
openly
Iron
gay
Man.
Yeah.
is an important distinction
Yeah.
because
Exactly.
let's look at Jodie Foster. We all knew she was a lesbian, but she wasn't openly
Right.
gay
But the thing is, when
until
you
recently.
don't come open, you come out, which I think why out gay is a better term.
But I still have to agree with what Bonnie's saying, because it's still towards the straight audience. Because the reality is that we're all out, but we all have to come out every single day.
Right.
Okay?
That's
Every
right.
single day for different scenarios, we have to come
I
out.
have to say, because they would
I
never
don't
know. They would
necessarily.
never know if they look at me. So.
No, never.
Exactly, right?
Yeah, also, Andrew Scott, I would sleep with you. Go ahead.
Oh, yum.
All right.
All that forehead. Go ahead.
Me too. Next, let's queer up travel. Visit Lauderdale represents to the world everyone under the sun.
Next, we are proud of our special partnership with Sunshine Cathedral, the world's largest queer church here in Fort Lauderdale. Supporting that partnership, we are broadcasting from our permanent set here at Sunshine Cathedral at the Happening Out television studios. We broadcast Sunshine Cathedral Sunday International Service at 10:30 a.m.
We finished tonight's Queer News headlines with a segment we call LGBTQ plus 1 Minute News.
LGBTQ plus 1 Minute News, we queer up the world view. Irish cabinet minister comes out in heartwarming way. Irish cabinet minister Jack Chambers is publicly addressing his sexuality for the first time. The Irish politician took to social media saying it's important for him to be true to himself and he is proud to be gay. Chambers is currently the Minister of State for Transport, Finance, plus Environment, Climate, and Communications. He's also served as Minister of State for Defense. Prime Minister Leo Varadkar is among those to congratulate Chambers. Varadkar himself is also an openly gay man.
LGBTQ plus 1 Minute News. Let's queer up drag culture. Drag Race Canada Herstory by crowning First Nation Queen. Ooh. Canada's Drag Race just got a little more inclusive and Indigenous. Vancouver drag queen Venus just made history, becoming the first Indigenous queen to take home the coveted crown after beating out fierce competitors Aurora, Denim, and Near Enough on season 4 of the hit show. After weeks of serving nothing but charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent, Venus joined the ranks of past winners Priyanka, Isis Couture, and Giselle Lullaby. Venus explained the importance of First Nation representation. She told Pride magazine that countless First Nation persons in Canada are not getting the respect they deserve, and she will feel immense pride if she inspires even one Indigenous child. Congratulations to Venus on becoming the first Indigenous winner of Canada's RuPaul's Drag Race.
All right, the moment we've all been waiting for. The winner of Canada's Drag Race Season 4 is
LGBTQ plus 1 minute news. Let's queer up South Florida and Florida. Queer Comedy Night celebrated at My Hollywood Pride, January 27th. My Hollywood Pride will host a queer comedy night on Saturday, January 27th at Cinema Paradiso, Hollywood. The show will take place at Anniversary Park. This will be My Hollywood Pride's first ever queer comedy night and just one of the exciting things happening during Pride weekend. The headlining comic will be Anna Lepoli, and she will be joined by other star comedians like Drusilla Summer and Preston Canavan. The event will be hosted by Jeff Klein. Hurry and purchase your tickets ASAP as the show is definitely going to sell out. This event is an 18 and over only event. Tickets start at $20. Further details are available at myhollywoodpride.com.
LGBTQ plus 1 minute news. Let's queer up lesbian culture. New ad with lesbian couple freaks out evangelical Christians. The anti-LGBTQ plus organization 1 Million Moms has condemned a new 30-second advertisement from the online dating site eHarmony for normalizing and glamorizing the LGBTQ plus lifestyle, whatever that is. In the ad, a mixed-race lesbian couple, including a woman with a shaved head, hold one another on their apartment couch waiting for the washing machine to stop. The couple then takes the clothes out of it and into the dryer. The ad ends with one partner kissing another on the forehead, and text appears on the screen reading, "Get who gets you." 1 Million Moms, an offshoot of the anti-LGBTQ plus American Family Association, is also encouraging its followers to sign a petition telling eHarmony to pull its inclusive ad immediately. So far, no response from eHarmony.
I never thought that I would lose my way, but since I met you now I have to say that I'm lost in love with you.
Get who gets you. eHarmony.
LGBTQ plus 1 minute news. Let's queer up education. Idaho bill will ban books that feature homosexual acts, like holding hands. Politicians in Idaho have approved a ban that could target books that feature LGBTQ plus people kissing and holding hands. For viewers, this is not an April Fool's joke. It's only January. This week, the Idaho Committee on State Affairs met to discuss House Bill 384. The bill, which was voted to be sent to the House floor, is a tweaked version of last year's House Bill 314, which was ultimately vetoed by the Republican governor, Brad Little. When HB 314 was first introduced, the Human Rights Campaign condemned it. The latest version of the bill aims to prevent school and public libraries from giving or making available any materials to minors that depict nudity, sexual conduct, sadomasochistic abuse, and sexual abuse, which could be harmful to minors. The bill's definition of sexual conduct includes homosexuality. That is today's news for the LGBTQ plus community on the world's first and only daily LGBTQ plus evening news show.
If our community is important to you, share this news with your friends and family. Are you, like most of America, part of our very large television audience, watching this live LGBTQ plus news broadcast right now on Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, and Amazon Fire TV?
Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ plus digital television show in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines. We need your support. If our community is to grow, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world.
This is the only place in the world that tells these types of LGBTQ plus stories in motion and sound. That is the passion of Hotspots Magazine, Happening Out Television Network, and Queer News Tonight.
I'm your anchor, FayWhat, and on behalf of these LGBTQ plus reporters, the incredible anchors here at Queer News Tonight, including Bonnie Builder, John Hayden, Cindy Brown, and Gregg with 2 G's Shapiro. We will see you daily at 8 p.m. to our LGBTQ plus world. We wish you good night.